I had Judd's assistant or somebody's email from when he did the Pete Holmes show 6 months earlier. And I emailed Josh Church. And I emailed Josh Church and I go, hey, Josh, I have an idea for Judd. Does he have 15 minutes for me? And they're like, yeah, but we're in New York shooting Trainwreck. I wish I had more stories like this because this is such a fun story.
I like this.
I'm like down in the dumps. But I'm doing all of this almost in a fit of mania like I am today. I'm manic today, but not manic bipolar. I just mean I'm very flared up today.
Yeah.
So I'm emailing Josh and he's like, he can see you Friday morning. We're on like 26th and 10th or something. They're in New York.
Wow. The fact that he made time for you so soon.
Yes, but I don't think he knew that I was in LA. And I was just like, I'll see you there.
You got on a plane.
I flew out the next day. I didn't even have the pitch. Oh, I left out the key part. Before I emailed, I thought, okay, what's interesting about me? I'm raised religious and I'm divorced. That's fine. You tell me you have a show you want to do about that. I'm like, okay, you're 70% of the way there. And then I went, and when my wife leaves me, I have nowhere to stay, but I stay with a different comedian every episode. And I go, now we have what's called an engine. There's a repeatable pattern. Whether or not you do that, that's how you sell a pilot, because you plant in the executive's mind, oh, I can see how this is something with legs.
Right.
So once I had that epiphany of like, fuck, and we call it crashing, right? Literally like writing it on the airline napkin. Real cliche.
Wow.
Flew to the set of Trainwreck.
Not even knowing what you're going to talk about and coming up with it on the way to
on the
New
flight.
York.
Yeah, writing it out. I wish I had that napkin. I get to the set of Trainwreck. They're shooting in the magazine office. Vanessa Bayer is there. The kid who plays the Flash is there. And Amy is there, of course. And I know Amy a little bit, so I'm talking with Amy. And then at some point they call cut and they take a break and I get 10, 12 minutes to pitch Crashing. And I'm better at pitching now, but I wasn't really good at it. But luckily Judd liked it. He was getting into stand-up at the time, like getting back into doing it. So pitching a stand-up origin story to a guy who was going through his second stand-up origin story. And also, frankly, knowing what I know now, Judd wanted to be with comedians. He wanted to be doing sets. He wanted to do a comedy tour to promote all this stuff. So it was right.
Were you nervous when you were pitching him?
Yeah, I didn't. I let's say the meeting, I think I met him at like 7. I was probably up at 5.
Did he say, let's get on with it right away? Like no small talk? Was there any small talk? Or hey,
the whole thing was small talk. There never was like okay, so imagine a little show called Crashing. But, it wasn't like that.
But at this point, your wife hadn't divorced you yet. You weren't cheated on yet.
Oh, no. This is years after that.
Oh, years after that. Yeah, so the whole cheating thing, this is many years after that.
I got divorced when I was 28. And at this point, I am 34.
Were you absolutely depressed and just crushed when that happened?
I love that you're steering it back to a more relatable area for you.
Yes.
Were you lonely?
Were you lonely? Let's go back to loneliness.
How many 3PO?
I need somebody to relate to me.
I would love to relate to you. That's the story.
But I can't.
Can I say one more thing to that?
No, please. I love this. Go.
The best part is, to me, is Judd didn't say yes. You know what he said? He said, write 15 pages. A purge. It felt like a challenge. I'm an Enneagram. Well, my wing is 4. I don't know if you know what that is.
I kind of.
We love our own pain.
Okay.
3 is the achiever. That's my main number, but I have a 4 wing, which means I love Radiohead. You know what I mean? Like I love sad stuff. The National is my favorite band.
I love The National.
Yeah, I could Matt Berninger is a
Would he really do the podcast?
I when I was like asking you, I was like, who's easy? Who's like a friend?
He's easy.
Matt is my friend, and
Mark Duplass is easy.
And Mark Duplass, but he won't be back in town until. I have a note to myself to get back.
I believe me. I love Mark. Did you see Creep? The Creep movies?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Spooky.
Creep.
That's probably
Creep
why
too.
I didn't watch it.
I fucking love it. Okay, go back.
So he goes, it's a challenge. He goes, write 15 pages of, or maybe it's 10, but he was like, just write everything you remember about being divorced. And I was writing about losing my erection while I was masturbating. Like, you ever been so sad that you can't even jerk off?
Of course.
But
I fall asleep jerking off.
Yeah, that's a little different. Yeah, that's a different kind of giving up. This was like, I don't even want me. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even, but you really realize when I got divorced, There was even a part of me, because I like jerking off so much, I was like, oh, I can just jerk off all the time. Like, I had never really been single.
Right.
And it turns out sex and jerking off are completely different things. You know, like you need like you want a body. You want, as Jacqueline Novak says, you want the hug of it. You know,
Right. Jerking off is just release.
Yeah, but I was like, I'll just do this. And I was like, after a while, I was like, you're pushing. It's like the engine on the Enterprise. You're really pushing the limits of how much you can self-soothe this way.
Right.
But I put all the most embarrassing stuff in there that I could muster. My mom kisses me on the lips, all that sort of stuff. And I think so I met him and I sent it to him like the next day. And then he was telling me stand-up premises, and I also sent him in the car to the airport the next morning. I just wrote out tags and just kind of manically being like, hey, you know that bit you pitched me? Here's and he wrote back, I'll never forget. He wrote back, this is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. And I was like, okay, I think we're becoming friends. And then when he read the pilot, I wrote a pilot after the document, and I rewrote that pilot, I think 6 or 7 times with different people. So not just a rewrite, but what if it was Hannibal? What if it was Amy Schumer? What if it was, none of them were Artie. It ended up being Artie Lang. But that I wrote it, and I was so young and hungry and didn't have a baby, to be honest. I would trade my baby for all of this. But when you don't have a baby, I can write a script in a couple days.
Right.
And now it's a little bit harder. But anyway, there was all of this Mr. Miyagi-ing happening.
And you didn't, and still it wasn't a yes, we're doing this.
It still wasn't a yes.
Right.
But he was asking and I was doing, and it was real. It was also mixing metaphors. It was very like Charles Sims in Scent of a Woman. And he was Frank Slade. Slate? He was Pacino.
Right.
And people who know me know I'm tempted to do my Pacino, but I won't. Anyway, that's the story of Crashing, more or less.
Wow.
Yeah.